Today, I'm joined here by Casey Jaravanich. My name is Reese Wong. We are investment analysts at FlexPath Strategies. And today we're here to talk to you about how to win business, specifically using target date funds that are suitable for a particular plan. So to win business, you need to prospect. And prospecting is a lot easier when you have qualified leads. How do you find qualified leads?
Well, Reese, so with qualified leads, generally there needs to be some type of issue or problem that's pointed out to these leads or to these prospects that where you're able to provide a solution in order to make it essentially be as if they need to move forward with business. And today I wanted to walk through, or we wanted to walk through an actual prospecting strategy that we've seen tried and tested. And in which case, for this prospecting idea, we're looking for plans that have two main metrics. First is that the target date fund that they're using is an aggressive target date fund, and also that the participants as well as the employer match results in high contribution rates. So, really, the reason for that is because high contributions are a telltale sign as to whether or not a participant is going to be fully funded for retirement. So, we like to use contributions as a key identifier for whether target date funds or what target date fund would be best fit for a plan. This is some data that we had actually obtained from Vanguard, and this is just based off of their record keeping site. And what we found was that 50% of the plan participants on their platform are contributing less than 6% of their income towards retirement, whereas 29% are contributing between 6 to 12%, and only 21% are contributing greater than 12. RPAG has actually gone ahead and done a calculation in terms of finding what would be the best fit risk level for a targeted fund based on contributions alone, in which case they found that an aggressive targeted fund is a best fit risk level for those participants who are contributing less than 6%. Whereas if they are contributing more from in the range of 6 to 12%, they can afford to de-risk a little bit towards a more moderate target date fund. And lastly, for those contributing greater than 12%, a more conservative target date fund is best fit for them. So really with our prospecting strategy, we're trying to find the participants who are in that greater than 12% contribution range. But even though with that, they're in an aggressive target date fund, and those two combined ultimately make a mismatch to where it provides a big problem, which we'll walk through some of the key points there. But essentially, is something that you can go to a prospect about or prospect with to try and let them know the dangers of it. And then eventually, with as an RPAG member, you are able to provide a solution through use of the fit analysis. So here is an actual graph that we put out. So there's with the assumption of two separate participants, both having a starting balance of $10,000 at the age of 30 years old. They both make $60,000 a year with an expected growth rate in their salary of 3% annually. The key differences is that in orange, we have the high saver who's contributing 12% of their income towards retirement, whereas the low saver is contributing only 5%. So on the far right side of the graph, you'll see at retirement age of 65, the low saver has only has an income replacement ratio of 44%, whereas the high saver has up to a 96%. So nearly 100% income replacement ratio, just because they are a significantly higher contributor. With that, we're able to determine that the best glide path for a target fund for a high saver would be conservative, in which case their main emphasis and goal for their retirement investing would be stability. Whereas on the flip side, for the low saver, they would be best fit for an aggressive glide path because they do need to take on that excess levels of risk to obtain higher levels of growth. And really being able to look at contributions and kind of showing this specific graph is what we like to call the back of the napkin fit analysis. So for those of you who are aware already of the fit analysis, I'm sure you know that there's going to be a little bit of information that needs to be obtained from the record keeper or from the plan sponsor. which case it's a little bit harder to get that when you're speaking to prospects. So looking at contributions alone is one of the largest parts of the fit analysis. So you'll be able to use this as a quick analysis as to finding what would be a best fit targeted fund for a plan.
And just like anything that is popular on the market, there are lots of target date funds available, and with that bring lots of different glide paths. And it's possible that your client or a plan sponsor that you're prospecting is not aware of the glide path and how aggressive it is that they've selected to put in the plan for those participants. So bringing this to their attention, if it is not a suitable glide path, is very important. What you're looking at here, this graph on the screen, is showing the TDF glide path universe and all the different glide paths from the industry maximum to the industry minimum. And we grade glide paths riskiness based on its equity exposure at retirement. And so with all of these glide paths available, it's important that you make sure that the plan sponsor is aware that they're putting, not only aware, but they are putting the participants into a suitable glide path, or else they're starting to open themselves up to litigation and just not having a suitable glide path for those participants and serving them properly. So this is where we see that if there is a misfit risk and one glide path doesn't fit every single participant's needs, risk-based glide path is a great solution to that. Another reason that it's important to choose a suitable glide path is because now we're seeing that target date funds are one of the most widely used investment options in defined contribution plans. So this graph shows the growth of target date funds over the past 10 years, which has been amazing. And 99.5% of participants are offered target date funds. 83% of those participants are using target date funds, while 59% of those participants have their entire account balance invested into a single target date fund. So this highlights the necessity to not only select a suitable target date fund, but really have your fiduciaries or plan sponsors do their due diligence so they don't open themselves up to that litigation.
It's not just us who stresses target date fund suitability, it's actually the Department of Labor as well. So what's being shown here is a tips sheet that the Department of Labor sent out back in 2013, in which case some of the main points, two of the key main points, was that they said to align targeted fund with participant characteristics, as well as make sure that the fiduciary understands the underlying investments. So with that, if a plan sponsor or fiduciary is unaware that the targeted fund is aggressive, uh, it's a sign that they may not understand the underlying investments. However, even if they did know that it was an aggressive target date fund, given that they paired it with participants who are high contributors, that would be a mismatch and can ultimately be unsuitable according to the Department of Labor. So that's some of the key points that we want to, or that the Department of Labor stresses and just want to make sure is pointed out.
So that is kind of the why. And now let's talk about the how. How do we find qualified leads? In RPAG, there is a tool called Larkspur Executive. This Larkspur Executive tool takes all of the 5,500 data that's submitted to the IRS and it aggregates it and puts it in, allows you to use filters through their software to sort through all that data and find exactly what you're looking for or narrow down that data to produce those qualified leads. So Larkspur Executive can be found in the main menu under the tool section called Larkspur Executive. And this is what that screen looks like right when you log in, and there's the advanced filters where you can filter through all that information.
So after you click on advanced, some of the key filters that we like to use would be location filters. So you can either filter based on city or just radius around a zip code. There's other filters such as participant filters, providers. Most applicable to this specific prospecting strategy would be the ratings, funds, and financial. So Larkspur actually has their own rating system where they compare plans within the same asset range. And the two rating sections that we like to look at would be the average participant contribution rating, as well as the average employer contribution rating. We're really going to be aiming for the top half of the peer group for participant and employer contributions. Using the funds filter is how we're going to find the plans that are using aggressive target date funds. So we're able to search by ticker or target date fund series entirely. And lastly, the financial filter. That's just based on what y'all's target market is. You're able to set plan asset ranges just based on what you generally look for. This is what all the filters look like combined. So in this case, we did a search of all the plans within a 50-mile radius of Laguna Beach using Vanguard target date funds, which are aggressive and also one of the most popular out there. So it's going to be able to help build the sample size of prospects that we're looking for. The plan assets range that we chose is 10 million to 75 million. However, again, that's up to y'all in terms of what y'all's normal target range is. For the ratings, again, it was the top 50% of the average participant contribution ratings as well as average employer contribution ratings, in which case this search for us found 44 plans. Once you're comfortable with the amount of plans that would be found, you can go ahead and hit search, and this will take you to the search results page, which gives a lot of overview information of all the plans that are being shown. We did have to obviously cover up some information here, but the key ones there is showing the actual ratings for the participant employer contributions. Right off the bat, you're also able to see the participants and plan assets. And also as an added benefit through Larkspur, it does provide the plan sponsor and fiduciary contact information right from the start. Once you find a plan that you're interested in and you'd like it to take a deeper look into it, you can go ahead and click on it, in which case it'll take you to this summary page. Again, showing you the different asset amounts, plan participants, but more importantly, it shows dollar amounts for the employer and the average participant contribution. Looking at this plan only, you'll see that there's contributions are in blue. So they're contributing nearly $30,000 per participant on average. Within a $70 million plan, you can tell this is a pretty rich plan that would have high funding status levels. And as we scroll down further, you'll be able to find which targeting fund they're using in terms of whether or not it's aggressive. So as you continue to scroll down further, there's more information such as providers, so you can find the record keeper. Again, there's information on the key executives, so you can see who the signer is of the 5500 and the plan sponsor. This next slide is one of our more favorite ones where you can actually see the holdings of the plan. So in which case you can take a look at the target date fund assets to determine how big of an impact the misaligned target date funds really is. So in this case, it's a little bit over $40 million in target date fund assets in a $70 million plan. So well over half of the plan, maybe in a misaligned target date fund, really just to kind of create the big impact when you speak to the sponsor. An added benefit of being able to look at the holdings is also being able to see the mutual funds, in which case, as y'all are probably well aware, as RPAG advisors, you do have access to the suite of CITs. So here you can see where there's mutual fund strategy equivalents, just to give you more talking points when you speak to the sponsor to let them know about what you're able to offer as a financial advisor. Once you go to the top, you are able to save the specific plan just to save it for later. And in the top right, there's a favorites tab so you can go back to it. The final thing that we wanted to mention that you can find in Larkspur is the actual 5500 filing. So that's over on the left side in the ribbon. You can just click on the drop down, find the most recent filing. Within there, you'll be able to go to the actual audit report and see how the plan is built out. So what's being shown here is that this specific plan has an automatic enrollment with a minimum 5% deferral rate and a pretty generous or very generous employer match at 5%, contributing equal to 100%. And really what all this is doing is so that you can essentially have all the information and all the ammo for whenever you go speak to the prospect. So kind of how we would normally put this together would be, whether it be via email or phone call, you reach out to the prospect. So give them a quick phone call with, hi, Mr. Sponsor, wanted to reach out, saw your retirement plan that you had for so-and-so company. And we thought that it was a great plan that you've built out with the automatic enrollment, you provided a very generous company match, and all of your plan participants are very motivated and retire or contribute a great amount. However, there is one red flag that we did want to point out, in which case that would be target date fund suitability. And from there, you're able to give all the talking points in terms of education regarding how important it is to align the target date fund is with the plan participants. And then once you've kind of got them on the hook there, you can lastly offer the actual target date fund fit analysis as a solution.
Yep. So if you would like to create a report for them, there is the TDF analyzer in RPAG. However, we are currently working on a new and improved target date fund analyzer. In the meantime, if you would like to run any of these the new target date fit analyzer, please reach out to either Casey or I. We could create these for you manually. What we're updating on the new TDF analyzer is we're changing the suitability questions from just a binary yes or no and giving it more of a range of answers so we can create a better index or result based on the best fit risk level rather than just placing them in, say, aggressive, moderate, or conservative. Now we will be assigning a certain index score so they can say even score in the aggressive, at the low end of the aggressive side, the high end of the moderate, and you'll be able to present them with multiple options over different risk levels. And so on the screen here, this is what the TDF fit analysis portion of that new analyzer is going to look like. We're still going to have 3 questions for plan design, demographics, and participant behavior. As I mentioned before, they're just going to be more particular questions and be able to really more precise questions. And then on the right-hand side here, we have the actual risk analysis where it's showing the upper band. 76 points is going to be the upper band of how risky of a target date fund is suitable for the particular assumptions that we've made on the left hand side of the table on the left. And then it provides a best fit risk index. That is the range of target date funds that we would suggest you place this plan into, and then also a lower band. So if you're looking for a new target date fit analysis, please reach out to us. We're happy to run those for you. So key takeaways is identify that your prospect has a problem and bring it to their attention. Use Larkspur to create that prospecting list, leverage the tools in your tool belt that you have at your ability, and then also provide the TDF fit analysis as a solution. Great. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. And if anything comes up, whether it's target date fund related or RPAG, please feel free to reach out to us at any time.